So just to be able to start to understand a little bit of your backgrounds, how many finance students are there in the room? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's good. How many of you have heard of the word fintech before? The word fintech? No, okay. 1, 2. Okay, that's good. Any one of you has have tried using an e-wallet before? Okay, this is one of the wallets. Yes. Now I'll explain the differences, but yes, this is good.
Currencies could be in e-wallets.
Changing currencies.
Yes.
Okay. Example. يعني.
Like changing your currency from. Like,
Not really. No. E-wallet more of a wallet that you can put your money in, but it's digital. It's not like a normal wallet. So it's a digital wallet. يعني not currency exchange, more of storing value inside a wallet and using it. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with fintech introduction. Okay. So what is fintech? You mentioned that you have an idea. So can you give me a brief of what you think fintech is?
Combining technology with finance.
Okay, that's good. That's a very good start. Okay. For what?
Maybe for more regulation,
Okay.
for ease of access,
Okay.
security.
Okay. Any more thoughts about it?
Would Bitcoin be a fintech?
Yes, it can be a fintech. Yes.
Bitcoin.
Okay, this is an example of fintech. It doesn't give a definition of fintech. It's one of the examples related to fintech. But يعني your first definition is really accurate. So it's exactly merging two things, financial and technology. So it's just the combination of the two words. Financial is anything that has to do with money, transactions, okay? And technology is technology. So combining these two words get us to the idea of fintech. So financial technology or fintech describes the use of a new and disruptive technology in financial services. So any new technology that comes to the financial service falls under fintech. Today, when banks started early in the decade, they were just places where you put your money and go and withdraw the money from them. The ATMs by themselves, they were fintech when they introduced ATMs. The internet banking is fintech. The mobile banking is fintech. And today we're seeing a totally new generation of what's called fintech. Now things are moving to a totally different direction. So even what we know in terms of ATM eventually will disappear. Branches of banks eventually might disappear. Things are changing in a very fast pace. So what pains should fintech company solve?
First thing.
Okay, time,
Security.
security, time, exactly. This is one, exactly. This is the main thing. So speed. Today, if you want to go and take a loan, you wouldn't want to wait 2 months to get your loan or even 1 week to get your loan. Any transaction that you want to do, time now for human beings, it's being much more precious than what it used to be before. So this is a very important pain that fintech is trying to solve. Ease and convenience. Today, you don't need to go to a place, to a branch, spend 2 hours talking to multiple people to fill certain documents in order to get a financial transaction done. So this is a very important pain that fintech is trying to solve. Cost, obviously. Everyone needs to look at his financial transactions at a lower cost. If I tell you now, transfer money to each other and pay 10 riyals on a transfer, you would think 100 times before doing such a transaction. So cost is very important. And finally, customization. Each one of you or each company eventually has its own needs. So now there is no one formula that serves everyone. Each one has to put his own ideas, his own needs for fintech to be able to change it. What solution I can give to you would be different than solution I give to another person or other country. So this is very important. Today in startups or in any new venture or idea, if you're not solving a pain, it doesn't work. Today there is something called a pain and there is something called a vitamin where you just add something to the users. Pain is very important. So if you're not solving a pain, you will not be successful in your venture. Examples of fintech. You mentioned Bitcoin,
Google Pay, right?
Google Pay. PayPal is one fintech. These are examples falling under categories that we will discuss now. Any new?
There's this new STC wallet.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called, but
STC Pay.
Yeah, STC Pay.
Yes.
Could Tadawul be fintech or not?
Might be fintech. Sorry? Blockchain is definitely fintech. Tadawul by itself, it's what's Tadawul?
Selling exchange.
Okay. What does it do? Exactly. So it's providing you with a tool. Okay, it's a platform where the stocks are listed and you can trade these stocks. So yes, it is a technology that's adding to the financial sector. In order to understand if anything falls under fintech, you need to see these two components. Does it have to do with financial? Yes. Does it have technology? Yes. So these are the main elements you need to look at if you want to define a fintech idea or no.
Also MetaPay, right?
MetaPay is a fintech. And if you want to go into this discussion, I can explain the differences between MetaPay and Apple Pay and STC Pay and Halala. Different models falling under the fintech umbrella. One, here we're going to talk about categories, and we can give example on these categories. One is financial inclusion and literacy. What do you understand from this financial inclusion? Okay. Financial inclusion is mainly getting the unbanked population towards being banked. So inclusion is including people within the banking sector. Today, in most of the countries, not all people do have bank accounts. Not all people do use any technology to do transaction. A lot of people, they just go in cash. So, and a lot of people, they don't know really what's their financial rights, what's their financial obligations. So anything that gets people more towards the banking system is called financial inclusion, where you include people within the financial sector. Literacy is really building the literacy towards the financial sector. For example, today there is a huge push from the government in Saudi for people to better manage their spending and their wealth. So today, if I create a certain application whereby individuals can know exactly what they are spending, put their budgets, see the categories they are spending their money on, this is part of literacy, because it's getting people to be more aware of their expenses and how they can save more money. This is all falling under this. Investment and wealth tech. The case of Tadawul might fall here. Okay, anything related to your investment portfolio or people who have wealth, however you want to manage your wealth, this can fall under the fintech. Today, before, if you have money and you want to invest them, you would talk to an advisor, and he would
Also go to the bank.
go to the bank.
Someone in the bank who could sell and buy, and there's a certain time, but now it's open for public and whenever you want.
Even yes, this is exactly the case. Even more than this, today you have platforms that you can buy and sell stocks. But today, if you want to get an advice on which stock to buy, you need to talk to someone who knows in this field. The next generation is going towards robotics. You don't need to have individual even that knows about these stocks. You just need a robot who has artificial intelligence built within it, that he can give you certain advices based on the analysis that they do. So this all falls also under fintech. Payments, obviously, and most of the examples that you mentioned here, PayPal, Apple Pay, Meta, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, we'll talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's a currency thing. The payments is any transaction that involves moving money from one party to another. Remittances out of the country, any kind of payment. There is a huge now move towards making this digital. And the example of Halala, which is the company that we founded, STC Pay, are all handling the payments. And we're going to go into more details on how the payments happen. But this is very important sector of fintech. If you have any questions, ideas while I'm talking, just feel free to share. InsurTech. Any ideas on what's InsurTech?
Sounds like it's related to insurance.
Okay. It's the technology that's related to anything that you do with insurance. Insurance also, it's part of the financial sector. So any technology built on top of this, today if you want to get an insurance policy on your car, for example, you need to go to either a broker or you just go to the insurance company that you know and you need to compare prices. There are more ideas coming that will make you compare the policies, the prices, the benefits of each and every company. This is one of the fintech, of the insurtech ideas that can come in. And this has a huge potential going forward.
Is Najm under this?
Najm is not related to the financial part, it's a tech, because Najm normally what they do is that they come there and they assess and they split the responsibility of the accident. I think this is what Najm do, right? So if it doesn't involve payment, it's helping the insurance sector. If it does, then yes. Again, I'm not sure about exactly the model of Najm. Okay. If it involves not necessarily even the actual payment, if it involves even getting the amounts of the payments, then yes, it falls under the insurtech. Exactly.
Is the insurtech under the fintech?
Yes, it is under the fintech. Actually, if you want, there are multiple, these are just examples. Okay, there are multiple things that can fall under fintech. You can argue that insurance might fall outside the fintech. You might argue this. Today, it is within the fintech, but this is up to your understanding. If you want to put it outside, it's fine. But insurance today is regulated by the SAMA in Saudi, which is the Saudi Arabia Monetary Agency, which is the same regulator that regulates banks. So by default, it's falling under the financial system. Lending, obviously. So whenever you want to take loans, even any technology related to lending is also falling under fintech, and this is also a very important space. Okay, let's try to remember to talk about lending when I talk about wallets and how they can help in the lending process. Because today, when you want to go to take a loan from a bank, you need to provide your credit. They will check your credit history. You need to provide your salary and all the relevant information for them to make a decision whether to give you a loan or not. When you have wallets or platforms or applications that users are already registered in and they do their financial transaction with, these applications, they do have the credit history, they do have the behavior of the users. So this will make the process of analyzing whether to give you a loan or not much easier and much faster. So you don't need to go and do the exercise all over again. Cryptocurrency, which is something, it's digital currencies. Okay, so any form of digital currency that can replace the normal currencies falls under this. Blockchain, you mentioned blockchain. Blockchain is also part of the fintech. It serves the fintech in addition to other technology sector. This is a huge, widespread. Today, when we hear about blockchain, we directly think of cryptocurrencies, but actually blockchain has much more uses because blockchain is a technology that ensures that
The same amount of money with a specific timing. For example, if I have 5,000, you will be knowing that I do have 5,000 within my account.
Exactly.
Multiple ones.
Exactly.
So there won't be money laundering.
Exactly. But again, it applies also to things other than payment even. Anything you can put it on a blockchain whereby you can stamp that this is factual and this is correct information. So everyone can think of the pains around you. This is where ideas come from. They come from pain. So as a user, as an individual in this life, you might face a lot of huge pains that you can really come up with ideas that can solve these pains. And this is where successful startups came. I give an example a little bit outside of the fintech, but for example, Uber and Kareem. They came and they solved a huge pain in the market. That's why they were successful. Today, if you do something that's not addressing any pain, it's hard for it to succeed. You were asking something? Okay, don't worry. Now, who's going into fintech? This is very important. What are the companies that are going today into fintech? Number one, banks. Obviously, banks, they are the ones who have been handling our financial transactions since day one. They are trying to move towards more digitalization and getting into the fintech space. Telecom operators. all telecom operators around the world also, they have been trying to penetrate the fintech space. Okay, I'll give now examples. For example, STC Pay you mentioned, it's one of the telecom operators that are trying to get into fintech. Car hailing. Car hailing are companies like Uber and Careem. They are also trying to get into the fintech space to do more ideas towards the fintech. Big retailers. All the big retailers that do have clients like supermarkets and e-commerce platforms, they are also looking at the fintech space. Insurance companies, obviously, they are looking at the fintech space. And big tech companies like Google, like Apple, like Facebook, WhatsApp, all of them also are looking at the fintech space. Can you just, what's the common factor between these companies? Yani, why do you think these companies, all of these sectors are actually looking at the fintech space?
Because it's the future.
That's one interesting general point. More specific. That's the future, everyone will be looking at fintech. Yani, what's the common factor between these companies that will make them?
Money? Finance?
They are not all into finance.
They're all into
Using websites.
There are a lot of other people using websites. Everyone is using a website. There are also more common things between these companies.
They all want to make it very easier for the customer
Okay.
to reach.
Sorry. Okay.
Removing the pain.
Okay. Exactly to the point. More importantly, all these companies, they have a huge customer base. So anyone having a very wide customer base now wants to make use of these customers. These combine a huge number of users and customers with huge data on these users. So the banks, obviously, they do have a lot of data on their users. They know their history, they know their transactions. Telecom operators, they do have a lot of data on their users. Same thing goes to car hailing. They have a huge customer base that they do transaction on a daily basis, and they know their spending on their trips that they do. Big retailers also, the same thing. People come and spend there, and they know their habits of spending. Insurance companies, the same thing. And big tech companies, they have a huge access to data. Facebook today, it's also going into wallets. They are doing into payments. WhatsApp is going into payments because now they understand the habits of their users. They can benefit out of this. So this is very important. Simply anyone with access to customers wants to get into the fintech space. Obviously, startups are also getting into that space. And each and every one of these categories has its own benefits and added value towards the sector. So for example, obviously, what's the added value of a bank towards the fintech?
Added value.
Yani, why would it be good for a bank to get into the fintech?
Because it's going to make it more easier for customers to achieve what they want from a bank.
And from a bank perspective, they do have the knowledge and financial, they do have the risk knowledge, they do have the regulatory knowledge. So this is their added value when going into fintech. Each one of these, they have their own added value into going into fintech. But what startups have that's not there in a lot of these companies, specifically banks, telecom operators, and insurance companies, is the agility. Agility is the ability to move very fast. Today, the big companies, they are called elephants. They are called elephants for a reason, because they are slow. And being slow, for example, with a bank, if they want to change something in their application, they need to do a huge update on the systems that they have. This is a huge number of customers, huge systems, big systems, very heavy systems. Whenever you want to change anything, normally the IT and banks, they do have a pipeline of 100 projects that they need to work on. So whenever they want to do an update, normally it takes them 3-4 months to do an update. While startups, if today one of you came with a new idea, a startup can implement it next day. So this is the agility of startups. But actually startups, they need the big companies because they do have the access to customers, they do have the financial knowledge, the regulatory knowledge. So the best fintechs come from partnership between multiple sectors. This is really what makes sense to people, to utilize the added value each and every sector. Okay, this is in general about fintech. Before into getting to a little bit of information about Saudi, do you have any ideas, questions that you would like to ask about it?
Will we talk about halal and such?
Yes, we can. Sure. So here I'm just gonna give you a little bit of numbers about the Saudi market. Today, printed currency in Saudi, which are the notes that you see, the 10 riyals and the 100 riyals, these notes, there is around 200 billion of these notes that are printed today from Sama. Out of these 200 billion, only 30 billion is deposited within banks, while the other 170 billion is actually being circulated between people. No one knows about it. Cash. It's cash under your mattress, cash in any place in the drawer. So this is a huge pain for all stakeholders in the government and in Sama and in the ministries, because they don't have visibility. This is where they are scared of money laundering, of terrorism financing, because no visibility on this. So this is very important as a base to start with.
Currency by the bank there is 1% of that missing.
This is rounding. This is rounding. Actually, no, it's why there is 1%? 0.1.
Yes.
Okay, this is rounding, sure. Yes.
Although most people use cards now, this is very weird. I don't know how. Is this new stats?
Yes, very, very new stat.
Numbers?
Yes.
That's very weird. Although most of my friends and like family, even here at the university, we have the problem that we don't carry cash with us. So that's
Okay, just look at the next slide. That's the difference between cards and cash. Actually, to your point, only 2% of the volume of transactions today are being done by cards, while 98% in terms of volume, number of transactions, are being done in cash. 98%. You're looking at your society, your community here around you. Just go to other places, go to the low-end places, and you see the cars, they don't even exist there. And there are issues not only because people don't have cards, they don't want to use cards. There are certain things related to the Saudi market that will make merchants don't want to use cards, because, for example, there's something called tasattur here, which is the cover-up, whereby the legal owner is not the actual owner of a place. If you use your card, the legal owner will know more about what's going on, but the one who's staying in the store doesn't want the legal owner to know. So there are many things hindering this. Just to be more optimistic, this is a better chart. So in terms of value, 25% is used by cards. Why is the value different than the volume?
Why are they moving to fintech while there's a lot of problems with cards? People don't realize cards. Well, you just want them to move by paying by phone. I do remember when first, the Wi-Fi where you can pay by your card without putting your password.
Okay.
I remember once I went to like a restaurant or something when the waiter took the man's card and did this. He thought he stole him.
Yes.
And he started shouting, if they don't realize this, if you don't put this in media, and also obviously media is the most important thing, how would you want us to jump to fintech by using, for example, our e-wallets, or while people don't understand what's a card?
True, very valid. This is where the financial inclusion and literacy is very important. Building awareness is very important. That's why we believe that university students, school students are really the drivers behind this. Today, you don't expect a 70 years old or 60 years old to adopt this unless everyone there is using it and he has no other choice. But the actual drivers, what we call early adopters, are the young generation, which are willing to understand, willing to change behavior. This is a behavior that you need to change. Today, it's really hard to get convinced that my mobile is enough for me to pay or to receive money. Even worse, I'm receiving money via just a number in the mobile. That's really harder than actually holding a note in your hand. So that's true, and there's a huge journey that we need to go in. But I think it goes to the new generation to build this change and to implement it. Actually, it's a huge journey. I don't say it's easy. Definitely, it's a hard journey. Today, talking about cards and POS. POS machines are the machines that you insert your card in to pay. So in Saudi today, there are 300,000 machines, while there are around 1.5 million active retailers. So the actual retailers are much bigger than the POS machines. And this is, if we assume that each merchant or each retailer has only one POS, we're looking at a penetration of maybe 20%.
Let me ask, these numbers, is this 1.5 لي بالمنشآت اللي بالمنشآت العمل ولا ممكن يكون بسطة حاسبينها؟
Anything that has either a CR, which is a commercial registration, or a municipality document, which is رخصة بلدية. Okay. This is, you think this is a huge number?
Yeah.
But yeah.
5 million is huge.
Yeah.
And 300 only has the...
Again, looking at maybe the places that we go to.
You have to go out of Riyadh.
Yes, and even yeah, exactly. You need to go out to the suburb areas and see how things look like. It's totally different dynamics, yani, from looking at just the high-end places in Riyadh. So this is just to show that there is a huge way to go in terms of fintech and how we can improve things. Now, how is KSA supporting the fintech initiatives? The first one is SAMA Sandbox. So SAMA obviously is مؤسسة النقد. It's the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency, which regulates all financial transactions, financial institutions in Saudi. They have created something called a sandbox. Anyone heard of this word before? Okay. So sandbox is something like مختبر تجريبي. Okay. It's a place that you can test new ideas. So today, there are a lot of ideas that cannot be just put there out there in the market and just leave it for people to adopt it and not understand the level of risks that's there. So what the sandbox does is it gets these ideas incubated in a testing phase, okay, and they monitor how things are going. They adjust, they build regulations for these ideas, and then they get them out of the market. So this is a huge initiative that supports the growth of these companies. Without sandbox, only banks can do financial transactions because these are... Yes, of course. Of course. And even STC Pay and all the other ideas, they come into sandbox. And there's another sandbox that we're going to talk about later. NDU, which is the National Digitalization Unit, it's also an initiative by Ministry of Communication, also towards supporting the digitalization of the country, payments being one aspect of this digitalization. Saudi Fintech, which is also an initiative by SAMA, which helps in marketing and building awareness. And one of the initiatives that Saudi Fintech today is pushing us towards coming to universities, talking to students, building this awareness. This is what you're talking about, is actually what Saudi Fintech is trying to do. They are trying to, next week there's something called Fintech Tour, which is, we are partnering with all banks in Saudi, doing certain workshops, explaining more about fintech, what are the new ideas, how can people benefit out of it. So this is a huge part in building the awareness and changing behavior in the country. CMA Sandbox, it's another sandbox, but it's for the Capital Market Authority. Do you know the difference between Capital Market Authority and SAMA? هيئة سوق المال. What does it do? So exactly. So anything related to investments and equities is regulated by CMA or Capital Market Authority, and all other transactions and banking transactions are regulated by SAMA. So both of them, they do have sandboxes to enable new ideas to come into place. For example, the CMA, they recently got a couple of companies into the sandbox that do crowdfunding. Have you heard of this word before, crowdfunding? Okay. Exactly. So it's mainly people funding investments, random people, public people funding investments. So now they have created platforms here for such type of funding to happen, and they are under the CMA sandbox. So all of these initiatives, they fall within the 2030 vision, which is really where things are moving. This vision has helped us in getting into the market, because this vision has changed the behavior of all government-related entities and pushed people to change and to think out of the box in that sense. Now to Halala. Okay, any questions, ideas before we proceed into the next?
From your presentation, you seem like you're e-wallet, right?
Yes, exactly, yes. Starting with pains. As I mentioned before, anything that needs to be successful needs to be solving pains. So, the first pain that Halala is trying to solve is actually the cash transaction with the merchants. Again, who has bank account here in the room? Anyone doesn't have a bank account? You don't have? Okay, that's a good start. You have or you don't?
Yeah.
You have, okay. Okay, so today it's calculated that around 80% of the Saudi population, they do have bank accounts. Okay, which is a good start. Okay, the issue here becomes that the unbanked are the merchants and not the people. Normally, wallets that have started in other parts of the world, for example, India, China, and the other underdeveloped or developing markets, they have worked on an unbanked population. There, the population is unbanked. Today, if you go to China, you would see the beggars, they do have QR codes on their backs. So if you want to pay for these, you don't pay them cash, you just scan their QR code and pay them. This is
Don't carry cash.
don't carry cash. Nobody carries cash. So they need to adapt to what's the actual need in the market. So yeah. So in Saudi, the case is different. People most of them are banked, but merchants are not. Most of the small merchants, the micro merchants, everything is being done by cash. Grocery shops today, most of them, the small ones, they do cash transactions. الفوال, الحلاق, البقالة, التميس, all cash transactions. And
That's because some certain, I think, governmental thing, I don't know what's called, it's a fee that you have to pay if you're opening a bank account by the name of the merchants, I think.
again, the most might be the case, but more importantly is actually, again, as I mentioned, the sector factor. If you open a bank account in the name of the legal owner, the money that gets into your POS goes to the legal owner, while the actual owner is maybe the Indian person in the store. So there's a huge regulatory issues behind this.
Why is it the Indian? That's what I'm saying. The Indian, he's the owner, لأنه هو صاحب يفتح باسمه.
Yes, he cannot.
إيه إيش كانوا مو كمان he cannot.
Huge fees.
كان مثلا for example إذا كان عنده مثلا ورقة أو شيء بس يكون مرة غالي عليه. يعني taxes الحين والأشياء مرة صارت غالية عليهم.
True. If you're opening as if you're a foreigner, you pay 20% tax. If you're a foreigner, you want to open a business, and this doesn't apply to small merchants, it applies to big companies, you pay 20% tax or tax to the government. But the issue is beyond this. If you're an Indian person owning a baqala, they will not let you own it. This is the regulation. So you cannot really get a POS in your name. The POS, you can open a bank account in your name, but you cannot get a POS with your name. You have to get it with the real owner, the legal owner of the store. And that's where the issues come in place. So this is the first pain that Halala is trying to solve. The second pain is suppliers. Today, other than merchants, there are suppliers. Suppliers like Al-Mara'i, for example. These kind of suppliers today, what they do is they go to groceries every day. The cash van will go down, put his inventory down, and tell him, I need 300 riyals from you. And he will take the 300, give it to him. At the end of the day, he will collect all the money, all the cash vans will collect the money, go back to their companies, put the money in ATMs, then go into reconciliation. Okay? This is a huge pain for suppliers. This is also another pain that we're solving. For the past 5 months, Al-Mara'i has been collecting money from the grocery shops that work with us through the platform. No need anymore for cash. It's being integrated with their invoices. If you have an invoice of 300.305.2 halalas, you can do it via the platform. No need to worry about the cash and the reconciliation. This is also solving a pain. Cash on delivery. I think most of you, if you order things online or food online, you still do the cash on delivery, right? You do have cards, but do you prefer to pay with card online or cash on delivery? Why?
For cash, because sometimes they don't bring
Cost,
the food.
trust. Okay,
They don't bring the food.
Exactly.
It happened to me twice, and I know the company's name is Mahmoud.
yeah.
But yeah, it was very horrible. Wallah, I paid and then they did not bring
Yes,
the food.
exactly. So today there are ways to pay, but the trust issue. And then again, this is where you need to think outside the box. If you just go with regular, I just want to do a regular fintech, I create a way to pay online. This is a regular fintech. This is normal solution that's there and that can be used. But it doesn't really solve one of the pains that are there in the market. People, even if they have the ability to pay online, they prefer to pay cash because they don't trust the product that's coming. So you might as well have something called halala on delivery. So you don't need to pay online, but you don't need to pay cash. You can wait for a product to come with a QR code, just scan it when you get the product. This can be somewhere in between. So again, fintech needs to work on customization and working on real pains to solve them. That's where you succeed in fintech. Finally, remittances. Remittances are transfers out of country. Okay, especially for the expats that transfer money to their home countries on a monthly basis. Today, how they do it is that they need to go, a lot of them, they don't have bank accounts. They need to go to agents or branches of banks specialized in the remittance. They go there, they fill applications, and they do everything. This is also another pain that we're working on, whereby with a click of a button from within the application, they can transfer money to their home country. So this is also making life easier. That's the main objective. So what's Halala? Obviously, you mentioned this before. It's an e-wallet. It's an e-wallet where you can come into the wallet with very simple steps. Today, if you want to open a bank account, you need to go to the branch. You need to fill papers, sign, stamp. You have to do a huge procedure in order to open a bank account. Today, what the company has done is simplify this process. You just enter 2 identifiers, your ID and date of birth. That's it. You're KYC'd now. You know what's KYC? KYC is know your customer. So any financial institution, any bank needs to fill something. These documents that you sign in the branch, they are called KYC documents because they get all the information on you as a user or as a client. So the know your customer methodology that we're using is a very simple eKYC. You don't need to do anything, just enter these 2 items. The wallet is connected to the National Information Center. We will collect all the data on, that are related to you. Your name, your age, your nationality, all of the information that's needed. Mostly you would get a message if you're registered with Abshir. You will get a message, one-time message on your number that's registered there. Now we make sure that you are the right person using the wallet. That's it. That's as simple as this. From there, you can put money within your wallet, add it through any bank account. Today, it's only limited to banking channels. I'm gonna go to the next slide. It will make it interesting. Okay, today, so this is the first action that we talked about, the sign up and creating an account. It's downloading the application and registering. The second step is topping up your wallet. You top up your wallet through any banking cards, debit or credit card. You just enter the card details one time. On spot, the money will get to your wallet account.
Connected with your bank account.
It's not connected with your bank account, but you can use your card,
Using my credit.
your credit or your debit card. If it works online, you can top up the money, but you're not linked. So not every time you want to do a transaction, the system connects to your bank account and takes money out of it. No, you just top it up. You top up and the money becomes within your wallet. Now you can go and use it anywhere. Okay? Next step, you can transfer peer-to-peer. So you do al-Gattat and you do any transfer that you need within the application. A simple, one-step, instantaneous, at no cost. It's just very simple process.
So, what if I need to do transaction to another bank?
You,
So I have banks. So transaction should done by adding the information and all ID bank. So
This is what you do in a normal banking transaction. You have your bank account. Sorry? So in a normal banking transaction, you go to your bank account, you identify the beneficiary, which is if it was another bank, you need to enter his IBAN, his name and everything to do this transfer, and it goes to a process what's called Saria, which is not very Saria, that gets the money to the other account. Okay? Today in the wallet, no. You're doing wallet to wallet. So you have money in your wallet. You can just by click transfer money to my wallet. No need to identify me. No need to fill any information. Just by mobile number. What? Exactly. It's not from bank to bank. It's wallet to wallet. Okay. So with the phone number, I'm transferring money to your wallet.
So I will have an ID from my wallet.
You don't need to know the ID of your, exactly. You have a special ID in your wallet, but for your purposes, your ID is linked to two things. Your phone number and the QR code, which is this square that you scan to pay. These are your identifiers in the wallet. Okay? So now you have the money in your wallet. You have the right to do whatever you want. You can go there, and this is the next part. You can go there and buy your goods from the shops that are supported by the wallet. In the application, you would find a list of these stores with the map that they can take you to these stores. You can go and pay. You can also transfer money out of the system. If you decide you want it in your bank account, you just enter your bank details and take the money out of the wallet if you wish. If you want to transfer it out of the country, you would be able to do this via also the same platform. And ultimately, we will be introducing a lot of other use cases that will make people want to use this platform for everything that they need in terms of financial transactions.
I have a question.
Yes.
So does this also work with the Wi-Fi or not? So can I use a Hadada while I'm traveling?
Yes, you can. Yes, I do it. I do it every time. Yes, it works.
Every time by what? With the machine, with the spam machine?
No, not need to, no need for spam machine today. Today there's no spam machine involved in all of this.
Does the one in front of me have the same app?
Okay. Today it doesn't support paying merchants out of the country, but you can pay individuals out of the country. So if me and you are out of the country, we can. Yes.
No, I meant, for example, like for example, like China, when we talk about China, they pay by a code with different multiple companies, with
Yes.
different multiple fintechs.
Yes.
You don't have to have, for example, Google Pay to pay with their system. You can have whatever e-wallet. They will pay with the same method.
Yes, this is linking wallets to each other.
Yeah, is it the same or not?
Today it's not linked. Today there are no wallets actually. In Saudi there are no wallets. This is new.
Yeah, but there is, for example, now STC Pay.
This is, it's Halal and STC Pay. These are the two competitors now in the market. These are the two companies that are there. Okay. At some point, yes, I think linking the two wallets might be a very good idea where it will enable users to do inter-wallet transactions. Yes, this can be done. Not at this stage, it's too early to do this. At this stage, you need to start at least with building the ecosystem, getting people to use the wallet, then you can link these two systems. But today, even if I don't have Halala and you want to transfer money to me, you can just do transfer to mobile number. I will receive an SMS telling me that your name, you want to transfer money, she wants to transfer money to you. Do you want to accept it? Download and register. Okay? So today, there is a case to transfer to non-users of Halala, but linking wallets needs some time to do this. Eventually, it's beneficial for the whole ecosystem.
Okay, can I transfer the money from my wallet to my bank so I can take it as cash?
Yes.
Or would
Yes, you can. And there are even other solutions that are being provided, but no, it will not start with individual, start more with merchants, whereby you would get an ATM card if you want to get money out of the wallet. So you just go to any ATM machine and withdraw money with your card. But this is not a solution for individuals. This is a solution for micro merchants who don't have bank accounts, so they don't have a way to get their money out of the system. Okay, we're not gonna give these ATM cards to individuals because it's against the objective. The objective is to reduce cash, so you don't want to give people go and take out cash and use it. So it's counterintuitive to do it. So this is the flow. Yes.
When was it first?
It was established around 2 years back, but the regulations were the actual stoppers. So there were no regulations. So what we did is we went to Abu Dhabi and took a license there because there were no regulations in Saudi. Then around 7 to 8 months back, we got the license in the sandbox of Saudi. Okay, and that's where we started.
Are you a startup, and who's your whose startup began this?
It used to be a startup. Now it's much bigger than a startup in terms of size and number of employees. But yes, we were behind. There are people who were behind. It's a private company. It was individuals behind it. Now there are institutions coming in, but actually individuals came up with this idea.
No, I meant, is it out from an institution?
No. It's coming from individual. It's a startup that came from individuals and grew, and now it's getting some institutions to be partners with them. But it's a private company that started by individuals. It's a startup, definitely.
How would you make profit?
Okay, so as a user today, you have nothing to pay. As a user, everything for you. Whenever you enter the wallet or use it internally, you don't pay. There might be cases whereby if you want to transfer to your bank account, we would charge just to cover the Sharia cost today, but whenever this is waived, we're going to waive it with them. But today, as a user, you don't pay. The ones who pay are the ones receiving money, which are mainly merchants and suppliers in that case. So today, the same thing happens with POS machines. If you're going and paying with your card, you don't pay anything. The one who pays is the actual merchant. So this is mainly the revenue model.
From my wallet to my friend's wallet.
No, nothing. Both of you don't get charged.
So
You want to pay?
Yeah, it's not federated. It's very nice.
Exactly. That's the whole point, is to make things easier and cheaper for people.
But when are you gonna develop it everywhere? I just say.
Yalla, things are moving, yani. Things are moving. Yes. Sorry.
if I may.
Yes, you may.
Is halal a non-profit?
No, of course not.
If I may, how would it make a profit?
Again, it's the direct revenue channel is the fees that you take from merchants. Today, the same thing happens with Meta. When you go and pay with stores, the ones who are charged are the receivers, which are the merchants. They are charged a percentage of the transaction. So this percentage of transaction, think about it, do your calculations later, think about a huge number of transactions, take certain percent, 1, 2%, 0.5, do the math, you would see that it's a huge value. But think about it at volumes. Today, if you're looking at a small volume, it doesn't make sense financially. You need to have a huge volume, you need to have a big number of users to be able to start generating.
When it came
Sorry.
to Apple Pay, ما فعل حق Apple Pay لأنه كانوا يبغون برسنتج معينة من الترانزاكشن. هي مصدر.
مؤسسة النقد بدهم نسبة من الترانزاكشن. Actually, what Apple Pay is doing now is that they are giving people the ability to pay with Apple Pay online at no extra cost. So, and they will start it just to build their customer base. Again, just to talk about Apple Pay will eventually be another method to top up your wallet. So Apple Pay is not a competitor direct to us. What you do, Apple Pay is called tokenization tool. Tokenization tool is just, instead of having your card, you just tokenize it and be part of your phone. So it's the same card. Exactly. It's the same card, but just your phone now reads this card. So instead of going and putting your card in the POS, you just tap a POS. This is not solving a pain. This is adding a vitamin to users. So today, as a user, okay, it's might be a bit easier for you to tap your phone instead of tap your card. But that's not a huge pain because you still need a POS machine. The pain there is paying with people, they don't have POS machines. And that's where the wallets are coming with the QR code payment. No need for any device, no need for any POS. You just print your QR code, stick it on the wall, and people can come and pay. That's the ease of it. Sorry, you were asking something? You want to ask something? Okay. So.
How many employees do you have in the company?
Now it's around 30 employees. Yeah.
Because you're a startup company, are like graduating and they would like to find some co-ops.
Yes.
And one of the most important companies is the people
Yes.
who are just starting their business. And
Yes.
would you like?
Of course.
Like,
And even last year when we were around 10 employees, we got 5 co-op trainees. So of course, every year we believe that it's a win-win. It's not only win for students, it's win for us because, and actually just to add to this, one of those trainees that came last year is actually now an employee. Even still, he's in the university, he's still studying, but he's an employee. He's a part-time employee with us because he proved that he's an added value. Just to add to this interesting story, his major has nothing to do with finance. Okay, he's a dentist. Okay, and now he's part-time and he's a very important asset in the company, really. So the idea of having co-op and having trainees is very important to us. We love it, and we believe that you, ladies and gentlemen, are really the drivers behind this. You are the ones that will understand the market, understand the needs. You will be giving us insights. So it's definitely a win-win, and of course we will consider. And eventually, every year the number will be bigger. So, and you're most welcome to. Okay, my position, I'm one of the founding team. Okay, I'm heading everything related to strategy and to investments, and I'm a board member in the company. So that's my position there. Yes.
About the peer-to-peer lending.
About sorry?
The peer-to-peer lending.
Yes.
Do you take interest in that?
Okay, this is not peer-to-peer lending. This is peer-to-peer payment. Okay. This is peer-to-peer payment. I will go to the next slide just because what you mentioned is actually, I will answer you, just give me 1 minute. So today what you can do with Halala, okay, you can share your bills, got taught. This is the easiest use of the wallet. Second, send money to your friends and family. Just need to send money to anyone, you can do it. Request money, you can do it the other way around. I want to request 100 riyals from you. I will send you a request if you accept or reject. Find shops on the platform, on the application where there are shops that accept Halala. You can go get the map and go there. Pay shops that support Halala. This is today. Now what's more important is the future, where things will come in place. One, transfer out of the country, remittances, it will be enabled soon. Pay mobile bills, recharge your mobile lines. Pay other bills and invoices, the electricity, your whatever you think of an invoice, you can do it via this platform. Buy goods and services. It can become a marketplace whereby you can buy services as if you go today to souk.com, you go to Noon, you go to any e-commerce platform, you can do this via this application. Take loans. This is exactly. So today, taking loans is not part of the platform today, but ultimately you would be able to get loans via this platform. Why? Because again, to be able to understand the users that you have and the customer base, you need to see their behavior. Once the behavior becomes more and when time passes, you would be able to understand the credit worthiness of this person. So now you will get yourself or banks to extend loans to these people. And this also applies to merchants, to companies, because now you know that how much money they are getting on a daily basis from users. You will understand more and you'll be able to analyze and give them a proper lending. So much more to come. The potential is unlimited. You can do many things within this platform. And again, it's up to ideas that come from within the company or from outside. Again, the part of the values of the company is to enable innovation. So you can be surprised. We have been surprised. We've been there in the market for 2 weeks. We are surprised of the amount of innovation and new ideas that come from people. Okay, today, if you want to have Halala on an e-commerce platform whereby you check out and pay via Halala, this needs a technical integration. It needs work. Today, we saw that there is one person that already put the logo of Halala on his website without integration, without anything. How come? You just press on the logo, he has his phone, mobile number. He doesn't need any integration. He just put his mobile number. So you can take his mobile number, put it on the app and send him money. People can think of really innovative stuff, and this is why we urge, especially you as university students, you are the ones that understand more. You are the ones that can come up with a new idea, whether to Halala or whether to yourself or whether to other companies. You are actually the enablers for this sector. So you need to really think of pains around you, how you want to improve, how you want to change. This is very important. And even if you might have the ability to do your own startup, and even as a company, we do have the value of supporting entrepreneurs who want to do their own things, if it falls within what we're doing. So I just urge you to really think of these sectors because there are amazing applications for it. And I think the sky is the limit with this, so yeah. So yes, that's it. I don't know if you, thank you. Thanks.